BBOR, Black Box Online Radio, coming to you from West Virginia. Black Box Ned 88 on Instagram for the bonus podcast. And it is Halloween night, Halloween evening at the time of this recording. Big happy Halloween to everybody from here at Black Box Online Radio. And over the past couple of days, I've been asking a polling question. We're going to be doing a Zodiac Killer discussion in the near future, and this is going to be a multi-part series, and I wanted to know, what do people want to hear about? And if you can just give your response in the comments section, just going to count up the number of responses we have, and we'll do what you guys want to hear about. The choices are either a book discussion on The Myth of the Zodiac Killer by Thomas Henry Horn, or an open discussion on the Zodiac Manson connection. And you can drop your request in the comments section below if you're listening to this as time goes by. Even in the future, just talk about things that you would like to hear about on the channel. That's all welcome. But the thing I would like to say is that we have talked about the Great Zodiac Killer hoax of 1986 here on this channel, but Thomas Warren repackaged his writings into one book, The Myth of the Zodiac Killer. I also think it would be a very good opportunity to put out a book discussion on that one in somewhat of a consistent format, because the last one was very choppy and stitched together, and we could do something a little bit more coherent, so to speak, as well as keeping up with some consistency. And the Zodiac Manson connection would be an open discussion, not using one specific book, just going in all directions. Open discussion means you just look at the situation from different angles, you look at different types of material, and you're just trying to find out what is the truth, like what really happened. And a big thing is, though, somebody left a recent comment about wanting to say something about the Zodiac Manson connection, where they're saying that they just don't believe any of it, we shouldn't do any more uploads on it. Well, if you can prove somebody wrong, if you can prove something to the contrary, if you can say that it's impossible, all right, then do it. Then that's what we would do. There's always some way that you can challenge some type of theory. So what would you like to say? What would you like to hear about? The Myth of the Zodiac Killer by Thomas Henry Horn, or an open discussion on the Zodiac Manson connection? And yes, indeed, happy Halloween. It's been a good year here on Black Box Online Radio. I've had a great time talking to you guys about the true crime cases, the Zodiac killers, serial killers, all things true crime related, sometimes getting into politics, psychology. Any subject is fair game, as well as just keeping in touch with all of you. But there's something very important, though, to say when we're looking at far-out suspects in the Zodiac Killer mystery, which is our deep dive segment, more or less, as well as some other mysteries. And people are also just like, hey, this is a ridiculous theory. We also had some of that come in when we did things on the case of Maura Murray. And they're just like, this is just a ridiculous theory. Why are you talking about it? And the answer is because someone else has proposed it on the internet. And that's just the way that we're going to go about it. If someone has proposed their idea about a true crime case, we're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss it. We're going to try and evaluate it, because once again, if you can challenge someone in an effective way, all right, then let's do it. And that's the short of it. But I hope everybody is having a good Halloween. And I would like to say, this is a total Halloween greeting. If you would like some content for today, there's an upload in the description box here that we did in 2018. It's when YouTube did these excellent Halloween-themed graphics that we have available, and it is on the cartoon conspiracy involving Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and all of those things that are related. The possible darker true story behind that one. So that is available in the description box here. I have to say that out of all the uploads that we've done on Black Box Online Radio, that was one of my absolute favorites to record, and that one is available in the description box here. Some genuine Halloween content for the day. It's been pretty good Halloween so far, although it's only the early evening now, but it's starting to get a little bit darker. Halloween night is about to come, and earlier today, I was out driving through some other parts of West Virginia into the mountains, and the higher elevation you can go, you can just see the fall colors begin to disappear, and the barren landscapes of November are starting to take place, but there's still some good fall foliage to have a look at, and also keeping up with horror movies for October. I saw the film Monster Mash for the first time, the live action one with Candace Cameron, and I mean that may be the greatest movie ever made. The sad thing is, I was half asleep when I watched it, and I was just not exactly in and out, but I remember laughing a lot. I remember just really getting into the dark humor, and it's available on YouTube for free, the live action version of Monster Mash. There's a lot of music in there, and there's just a lot of dark, challenging humor, but I can't even remember a single reason why I was laughing or the words to any song, but I remember that I had a good time. And tonight I have a copy of Halloween Night. I thought that that was also something that was just very fitting and very appropriate for the evening. In the past, I used to watch John Carpenter's Halloween from 1978, but I saw that one very frequently. I mean, I've seen that film so many times, I can't even tell you how many. So you can always just wait in the comment section. What is one movie that you think would be a good idea for Halloween? And we can definitely do some more movie discussions on the channel. Once again, not like movie reviews, because a movie review just to me seems more like, all right, these are some things that happened in the movie, and this is what I liked and what I disliked. I much rather like the comparisons and the contrasts from movies to real life. And I've said it once and I'll say it again. I think that that would be a very valuable podcast for somebody to do about, historical fiction, movies that are based on real life and comparing them to the nonfiction sources, and definitely going at it from a true crime angle. But we will be doing some more things like that. And I mean, the topic list is getting pretty big for November. That's why if anybody is listening to stuff like this in the future, we're going to be having some things, as we said, possibly on the myth of the Zodiac Killer with a Zodiac Manson connection. But we have a whole list of Zodiac Killer suspects to examine that were requested by you guys in the comments section. And from time to time, we also mention a few things about Brandon Lawson and Maura Murray. Those are two high-profile missing persons cases. But in the mix, I do have one on the disappearance of Madeleine McCann that will be coming out in the month of November. I'm really not sure when, but I think it's a very, very vital one to the discussion. Perhaps the most vital one that I have ever had in mind to do on Madeleine McCann that we will have coming out in November, because with the disappearance of Madeleine McCann is one case that is talked about so widely and so heavily. But I think that it would be finally the time where I would just voice my frustrations with a lot of the media sources and the way that they are presenting things, and we might actually be genuinely contributing something. Because I did a series of videos, I mean, they're just podcast recordings, we should say, podcasts here on the channel, talking about Madeleine McCann back in 2018. It was in the old-fashioned black box recording, where it's just, just a pure, genuine black box. I call those the old-fashioned recordings. And, I mean, some people were listening along, but at the same time, I was really going down the murder theory that Madeleine was murdered by her parents, and precisely that it was an accidental death, but it was caused by their negligence, so they could likely be charged with murder. And I expanded upon that in 2019 and did another series of uploads following that material, because I really just had a lot of focus on the parents, and I didn't want to even call that Point to the Parents, Madeleine McCann, Point to the Parents. And I would say that I was going down that pathway because there just is a lot of disinfo, like misinformation that is shared about the disappearance of Madeleine McCann, and we will do a big special, just as I said, voicing my frustrations about this is how you can get caught up and deceived by true crime specials. You like documentaries on podcasts, of course. I say specials because that's more of what they would say, like on the BBC or something. They do a BBC special about the disappearance of Madeleine McCann, and they even did one in Portugal, the Portuguese language version that was done by Gonçalo Amaral. We've also done an 8-part discussion series on Madeleine McCann called New Challenges here on this channel, Black Box Online Radio. And as always, you can like and subscribe if you'd like to follow along with true crime cases. We did that in 2019, which is a response to the 8-part Netflix series about the disappearance of Madeleine McCann prior to lose Portugal back in 2007. So I would say that we're going to be going through a lot of true crime cases, but I also want to look forward to talking about some things just about psychology, and I find that stuff to be absolutely fascinating. And yes, we're going to do a lot of things about the Zodiac Killer, but because we have many topics on the Zodiac Killer, they're going to come out frequently, just not every single day. And we'll see how we interweave some of these other true crime cases into this. And we do have some more interviews coming up, and I would like to bring more guests onto the program so that we can expand these discussions and we can hear what other people have to say, and we can just see where some of those things go. Especially if we were to do something on the Zodiac Manson connection or the myth of the Zodiac Killer, bring in somebody else to talk about it. I mean, a lot of people have said, they like some things that I share about the cases, but if someone else can share their standpoint on this, we can challenge each other, or even if we find the points that we agree with and the points we disagree with, those could be some things as well. I'm really not doing any candy at all this year for Halloween. I don't believe it. I think that I think it's just rather saddening. Part of me was even thinking, I should just go out to Walmart or something and just like buy one of those Halloween mix-and matches, like the things that are just like the grab bags full of random stuff. This year for Halloween, I had one little bag of candy that was given to me. It had like four things in it, but it included a Hershey's cookies and cream bar. Those things are absolutely excellent. So, I think that it's going to be a very nice evening. We got nothing but clear skies. Supposedly, there's going to be a blue moon tonight, and like an actual blue moon here on Halloween. Last night, the moon was just full, and it was just so bright, and it was kind of just like when you walk outside, like, whoa, holy crap, that is a bright moon. I mean, I'm not too into werewolves, but I think that stuff is, I get really curious about it. And here's a big issue that we have when we're looking at some things about sharing content on this channel. If we were to do something about werewolves in the future, or just possible true stories of werewolves, what would we really want to say about that? We would want to hear other people's stories. Recently in October, we did several uploads on paranormal cases, like alleged cases of haunted activity, hauntings, and ghost stories. We talked about that only like about 5 episodes out of a whole month. That really isn't that many. And there was one comment that came in that said that it wasn't very interesting. I don't know about you guys. I think that's the most fascinating thing in the world when you're listening to somebody's story and you want to find out what is true and what is false. That's what we do here on this channel. When something just gets you curious and you want to learn more about it, that's just my response to the subject. And that's why we do things like talking about haunted houses, paranormal activity. We did a lot of ghost things in October, mostly just because as we're approaching Halloween, approaching times like today, and I think it's very thematic. But we will definitely do more about true crime, and I can say that we've also done one upload on the channel called Enigma of the Wolf. And it's talking all about the wolf as a symbol that is used in literature and symbology. And I was reading the book Lords of Chaos, where they shared a lot of things about that. And the book Lords of Chaos was a very valuable book that I have read this year because it mentioned so many things that we got to talk about on the channel. Satanic influences in the music industry. It revived my connection to King Diamond, and we did an upload on him called King Diamond on Satanism. And as we said about how the wolf is used in literature, I've never done an exact upload just on literature on this channel, like talking about a famous author. I mean, we've talked about science, we've talked about history, we've talked about, of course, true crime cases, but I don't think I've ever done one on literature. And I've said that at one point in life, I would just like to do one upload here on this channel about some famous work of literature. And even if it's just like a little 10 or 15-minute segment, that's just something that I would like to do with the channel. I can definitely see that you guys aren't too into the science episodes, or perhaps this isn't the best format for that. Maybe people would really want some more intense graphics, like we talked about humans living on the moon once, and we did an upload recently called Humans Living on Venus and Mercury, about this one set of ideas that was laid out in the book Human Reality, mentioning like futuristic plans to live on Venus and Mercury. Those are also some things that are fascinating because it's the same setup. It's the same setup that we have with true crime. Someone is telling you what their idea is, and you want to evaluate it. And that's why I can never talk about only a single case here on the channel. And when this thing started out, it was just intended to be my daily YouTube segment. There was like no time limit. I mean, I was just keeping it under 14 minutes because we had like that YouTube restriction. Like if you had an unverified channel, you couldn't put out content that was longer than 15 minutes. So I would aim for 14. One time I did an upload that was 2 minutes and 49 seconds, just talking about things in my daily YouTube segment. And we of course went down the pathway of, as we said, like, interstellar travel and such, as well as just one that was on some things that scientists were saying in this book about DNA, but that was way back in 2018. And with some of the things that we also covered on the channel, we mentioned quite a lot about conspiracy theories, because I've said it once and I'll say it again. Perhaps my absolute favorite subject is conspiracy theory science. Like, how does a quote unquote conspiracy theorist think? I know that they're not the most famous things in the world, and I find that many people would rather talk about an individual theory itself as opposed to how is the conspiracy theorist thinking. But when we did uploads on this channel, like serial killers versus abusive relationships, where we look at the literature around serial killers and the literature around abusive relationships and like avoiding toxicity, you can find that they're saying very similar things about the way that people are behaving. And then you're just like, wait a second, here's a connection that nobody else seemed to really notice and such. So that also puts me down like a particular pathway, and you get caught up reading something for hours and hours, and then you just want to tell somebody about it, and then boom, that's how this channel got started. And I used to do this stuff all the time. I just didn't have a YouTube channel. Like, I would just space out and start focusing in on a true crime case like the Zodiac Killer, but really the disappearance of Brandon Lawson. I just thought about that one over and over again, to the point where I had tunnel vision, and I couldn't even think about it properly. Somebody left a comment on our upload, Brandon Lawson, Stapler's theory and 911 call, which were just like, I'm quite curious about how you say you've studied this, but you're making all of these, not exactly errors, but leaving out very vital pieces of information. And that was the answer. I was just thinking about it over and over again, and I got tunnel vision. So with the Zodiac Killer mystery, we've definitely tried to talk about different sources, different perspectives, and you guys have shared an enormous amount of information with me. You guys have shared like very insightful comments, and I try to cite it every time that, like, I learn about something from the comment section. But even if I don't, just a big shout out to everybody in the audience, because when we're learning about true crime cases, you can really see that we have some things that are okay. So please share some things in the comment section below. Leave any comments that you want. Weigh in on what you want to hear: the Zodiac Killer Manson discussion or the myth of the Zodiac Killer by Thomas Henry Horn. And please visit the upload in the description box here, talking all about Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin cartoon conspiracy. Okay, that's all for me. Happy Halloween, everybody. Stay safe and have a good night. Until next time.